How high will the price of Bitcoin go in this bull market cycle? Are there any simple ways that you can use to predict the top of this bull market cycle? You see, social media is filled with people that are trying to give the craziest predictions of this bull market cycle. And if we look back at the previous bull markets, we see that this is a recurring phenomenon. Every cycle, we see these people on the internet claiming that they have predicted what the top of Bitcoin will be. And 99.999% of all of those people are wrong. But why are people so obsessed with trying to get an estimate of how high Bitcoin can go this bull market cycle? Well, that all has to do with the fact that there's a big difference between realized gains and unrealized gains. Let me briefly explain. What are unrealized gains? So whenever you are opening your crypto portfolio, let's say on your phone, and you're looking at your screen and you see a bunch of numbers over there, those are unrealized gains. If it's a profit, it's an unrealized profit. If it's a loss, it's an unrealized loss. It is nothing more than just a bunch of virtual numbers on your phone or your computer. If you are going to the supermarket or you want to buy a car or a house, you cannot buy it with unrealized gains or losses. You need to actually cash out your crypto in order to buy something. So unless you cash out your positions, it's unrealized. And this all ties back to trying to predict the top of the bull market cycle. The reason why people want to get an estimate of how high they believe the crypto market or the Bitcoin market is going to go is because they want to create an exit plan. An exit plan is your game plan when you're actually going to start to take profits out of your portfolio and turn it into realized profits. Because when you do have cash, then you can actually buy houses, cars, groceries. So that's why we want to create a guesstimate. Everyone should create their own guesstimates based on their own assumptions of the market. And in this video today, I'm going to show you 5 simple ways that you can create a guesstimate of how high the price of Bitcoin can go in this bull market cycle. And I've even decided to include a 6th way just as a bonus so that you have more material to create your own guesstimate and your own exit plan. So this is going to be a super value-packed video. I hope you enjoy it. But before we get started with all of this, I've got one question to ask you. First of all, before we're even going to dive into all of these methods to predict the top of the Bitcoin market, I'm really curious. Drop a comment below this video and let me know how high do you believe that Bitcoin can go this bull market cycle. I'm really curious to hear your answers. And at the end of the video, I'm going to ask you the same question. And then based on these methods, I'm curious if your mind will be changed and if you're going to look at Bitcoin's price in a different way. So drop that comment below. Also, I need to make one quick disclaimer over here. Nothing in this video is financial advice. I'm just simply creating this video for educational purposes only. Please also always do your own research. Actually, a lot of my videos are focused on helping you to get the right mindset and skills and tools to do your own research, because I believe you can teach a man how to fish. Sorry, you can give a man a fish and you feed him for a day, or you can teach a man how to fish and you can feed him for a lifetime. And I believe that it's much better to teach you how to catch your own fish. Also, if you enjoy watching videos like this one, if you want to be much better informed, if you want to grow as an investor, if you want to learn, and if you want to stay informed about all the stuff that's going on in the market, then hit the like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so yet. All right, I'm going to pull up my screen and we are going to dive into the first method that you can basically follow in order to get an estimate of how high Bitcoin might go this crypto bull market cycle. And here you can see it already. So I have taken this chart from CoinMarketCap. CoinMarketCap is one of the easiest platforms. It's free, where you can see all of the prices and charts of all of the crypto projects. And here I have mapped out the tops of the previous bull market cycles. So here you see in 2013, the top was somewhere around $11,052 per Bitcoin. In 2017, we were at $17,660 per Bitcoin. And in the recent bull market cycle in 2021, we reached a top of $64,400 per Bitcoin. Now, I have also included the ratios of these previous bull market tops compared to each other. So from 2013 to 2017, the top to top ratio was around 15.3x. Now, the previous cycles, so from 2017 to 2022, the top of the bull market was, the ratios between the tops was around 3.6x. So the market, went up a little bit more than 3 times if you compare the tops to each other. Now, if we assume that Bitcoin does another increase of 3.6%, 3.6x from its previous top, that would bring us up somewhere around $230,000 this bull market cycle. What if Bitcoin would go with this previous ratio of 15.3x compared to this previous top? Then we would see something like a $1 million Bitcoin. So if you look at these two ratios, 15.3x and 3.6x, you see that the ratios are decreasing. But there are arguments to be made. Some say that the previous bull market cycle ended way too early. Why? Well, sometime around this part of the market cycle, like the last part of the market cycle where we dipped and we were preparing for the next leg up, suddenly we heard the news that there was a conflict in Russia and Ukraine, that Russia invaded Ukraine, and that there was a potential World War III. I think that combined with the current dip of the market caused the market to cascade, and we saw a bunch of other stuff going on as well. We saw Three Arrows Capital that went bust, FTX that went bust. It triggered a cascading effect downwards, and I believe the market ended way too early. But these two ratios, 3.6x, 15.3x, give you an interesting range to think about. Like if these ratios hold true again, then Bitcoin could be somewhere between $230,000 per Bitcoin and $1 million per Bitcoin. You could also say that maybe this market cycle, we are going to keep seeing a lower top to top ratio. So maybe this time it's going to be a 2x or a 2.5x or maybe a 1.5x from here. We don't know, but still it's interesting to keep an eye on these ratios. Now, let's have a look at this other chart. I call it the bottom to top market rallies, expressed in terms of percentages. So if you look at this chart, you can see that from the bottom of the market in 2011 all the way up to the previous top around 2014, 2013, we saw an 11,645% increase. That's quite a lot. Then in the previous bottom to top, we saw a 7,382% increase. That's insane. Those are such high returns. Like in traditional markets, there is nothing that can basically compete with this. Stocks, bonds, real estate, these kind of returns are unprecedented. And that's why so many people are actually attracted to crypto and Bitcoin as an asset class. And that's why Bitcoin has also been named the best asset class of the past decade, because these returns far outperform other investment vehicles. Will Bitcoin keep outperforming other investments in the future? We don't know. We can only look back at the data and we can make assumptions and guesstimates based on the trends and patterns that we're seeing. And that is the whole purpose of this video as well. Now, if we look at the final market cycle that we saw from around 2017 until 2021, we saw an increase of around 1,991% from the bottom of the market all the way to the top. Now that you see these percentages, there are a few observations that we can make. First of all, you can see that every cycle we see that the percentage is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And this is because Bitcoin is maturing as an asset, all right? We see that more and more investors are entering the market, And we see that there's more market participants that are involved in the market right now, making it less volatile and making the price swings less extreme as they were 13, 14, 15 years ago. Okay, so if we look at these ratios, then again, we can get very interesting insights into what Bitcoin could do in this bull market cycle. So let's make an assumption. Let's say that you see these percentages getting smaller and smaller every single cycle. What if next cycle we don't do a 2000% increase like the previous cycle, but what if we do half of that, like 1000% increase? Well, if we do 1000% increase from the bottom, which was around 15.5K, that means that this bull market cycle, Bitcoin could be somewhere around $17,000 per Bitcoin. What if we do a roughly similar performance of last bull market cycle? I know that you see a diminishing return every market cycle as Bitcoin matures, but what if this bull market cycle, because we're seeing a new type of market participant enter the market, which are the institutional investors, what if they get into the market and they come in with billions and trillions and we see a big pump in the market and we perform roughly the same as the previous crypto cycle? Well, if Bitcoin would grow with 2000% from bottom until the next top, that would put Bitcoin somewhere around a 300K per Bitcoin. So now you've seen two different methods that you can use to gain an estimate or at least a range of how high Bitcoin could go. So I hope that you're ready for the third method. So let's dive in. The third method that I want to show you is the stock to flow model. In case you don't know the stock to flow model, it was created by a Dutch institutional investor called Plan B. He used to manage a lot of money for wealthy families, for family offices. And a few years ago, he discovered Bitcoin and he created the stock to flow model. The stock to flow model has been the go-to model which people in the crypto market look at to get an understanding of what Bitcoin can do in these in this next market cycle or in at any point in time. So Plan B is very popular on Twitter, on X. You can also follow him over there. And he regularly posts about his conclusions and observations about this model, and he regularly updates it as well. So the stock to flow model is basically a mathematical model which looks at the available supply of Bitcoin, which is already in circulation, and the new supply of Bitcoin that enters the market. And of course, the relationship with the Bitcoin halvings that happen every 4 years. So the Bitcoin halvings are the vertical dotted lines here on this chart. And basically what you see is that Bitcoin's price tends to follow this dark red line, which you see in the middle. And sometimes it shoots above the red line and sometimes it shoots below the red line. So when it shoots below the red line, that's usually when we see the bottom of a market. And when it shoots above the red line, we call it a top of the market, or that's mainly a bull market. And this is a bear market. So usually the tops and bottoms are 1 or 2 standard deviations below or above this red line, but it tends to oscillate around this red line. And if this model holds true, then this bull market cycle, according to Plan B, we are going to see a Bitcoin somewhere between $250,000 and $1 million. So that is if Bitcoin is going to keep following this pattern. Some people in the industry argue that this model is not valid because in the previous market cycle, it didn't really hit Plan B's price prediction of 100K per Bitcoin. But like I mentioned earlier in this YouTube video, I do believe that this has to do with the Ukraine and Russia conflict, which suddenly broke out when the market dipped, and it created a cascading effect, resulting in that the previous bull market could have ended too early. And the counter argument that can be made around this topic is that now in this upcoming bull market cycle, we are going to play a game of catch up because we have missed out on so many losses in the previous bull market cycle. This market cycle, we could see even more explosive returns to correct what we missed out in the previous market cycle. And again, we also will see institutional money flowing into the market. We see banks, we see pension funds, countries. So all of those players bring in billions into the market. And that's something that we haven't seen before. Up till now, Bitcoin has been mainly a retail dominated market. Okay, the next chart that I want to share with you is the Bitcoin 200-week moving average multiple. So here on this chart below, you see the 200-week moving average, which is the black line. Then you see the price of Bitcoin, which is the thin black line with the colored dots. And what Plan B, this is an observation that he made on X. He said that Bitcoin usually increases 4x from the bottom. And from the moment it's 4x from the bottom of the bear market, it usually tends to go up 7 to 10x from that point. So here you see from the bottom in 2014-15 until 2017, when it 4x, from that moment on, the price 10x. We saw something similar in 2018, 2019, when we saw a bottom. And from the moment it 4x, we saw a 7x return. Now we have just reached the point where we went up 4x from the bottom of the bear market. And the question is, are we going to see a 7x to 10x return again this bull market cycle? And if we do, so if Bitcoin 7x from the bottom of the bear market, that would put Bitcoin somewhere around $420,000 per Bitcoin in this bull market cycle, so at the top. Then if Bitcoin 10x's from the bottom, then it would put Bitcoin somewhere, no, not 10x from the bottom, but from the moment we hit the 4x from the bottom, then if it 10x's, then we might see a Bitcoin that's worth $610,000 this bull market cycle. So again, when a few months ago, or maybe a little bit more than 1 year ago, if someone would have told me that Bitcoin could go to 100K or 200K this bull market cycle, I would have probably told them that they would be super optimistic. But when you look at these charts, these patterns, and you look at all of the fundamentals that are going on in the market, and you see the institutions that are getting into the market right now, they are bringing in billions and trillions of new capital. They are bridging the world of traditional finance. I believe there's around $191 trillion of assets. And if only a few percentage of that flows into Bitcoin, it already means that we might see a massive increase in the price of Bitcoin. And these charts and these patterns give us very interesting insights in how high Bitcoin might go this bull market cycle. Again, they are estimates. That's the whole point of this video. I want to show you how to make your own estimates based on these models. Now, the final chart that I want to show you is the power law fair value model. So how is this model created? It was created by plotting all of the price points that we have up till now. And based on those price points, you can create a regression model. So you can basically create a statistical model based on previous data that sort of predicts where the price will go in the future. And based on certain parameters, this power law model predicts that Bitcoin could reach somewhere around 343K or around 300K per Bitcoin this bull market cycle. Again, sounds like a lot of money for one Bitcoin. But if you think about it like this, 15 years ago, when Bitcoin was less than $1, when Bitcoin hit $100, nobody would have predicted that it would go so high. Similarly, when Bitcoin hit $4,000, nobody would have predicted that not much later Bitcoin would hit $60,000 per Bitcoin. So Bitcoin can go up very quickly in a very short period of time. And that's why, again, it's important to study the past to get an understanding of what might happen in the future. I told you I have included one bonus, and this bonus is quite subjective, but I also place a certain weight on the opinions of industry leaders, of people that are very well connected in the industry. Again, they have their own agendas, they have their own assumptions, but I do believe it's important to gauge the market and see what others are thinking. And there's a list circulating on X which outlines the price predictions of some very big thought leaders in the space. So, for example, Arthur Hayes, who is the co-founder of BitMEX, one of the OG crypto trading platforms. He predicts Bitcoin could go all the way up to $1 million per Bitcoin. Then we have Chamath Palihapitiya from Social Capital, and he was one of the early employees of Meta. That's how he made his first money and then later became a legendary investor in Silicon Valley. He believes Bitcoin can go somewhere between 500K to $1.1 million per Bitcoin. Plan B, we already discussed it, somewhere between 250K to $1 million per Bitcoin. Mike Novogratz, CEO of Galaxy Digital, which is a investment firm which is very heavily involved in the digital asset space. They believe Bitcoin could go to 400K this bull market cycle. Glassnode, which is an on-chain an analytics platform. So you can basically look at the whole blockchain. You can look at different metrics, KPIs. They have a whole, it's basically a tool for blockchain analysts. And they also have their own analysts, which are observing the market. And they believe that Bitcoin could go to 328K per Bitcoin this bull market cycle. Robert Kiyosaki, author of the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, believes it can go to 300K. Alex Becker, 300K. Tim Draper, famous Silicon Valley VC, 250K. Max Keiser, 220K. Steve Wozniak, the co-founder of Apple. This is the lowest one on the list, but yeah, you can imagine Steve Wozniak is a very wealthy guy. He's very involved in the tech space. He believes Bitcoin could go to 100K this bull market cycle. So now you see a big range from 100K all the way up to 1.14K per Bitcoin. And that's what the thought leaders in the space are basically thinking. So now that you've seen all of these charts, now that you have seen all of these methods to get an estimate, to get a range of how high Bitcoin could potentially go based on previous data, of course. All of these charts are based on previous data. We need to make our own assumptions and guesstimates of how high we believe that Bitcoin could go this bull market cycle. So after watching this video, I'm really curious to hear your answer again in the comments below. How high do you believe that Bitcoin could go this bull market cycle? And let me emphasize why this is important again. Nobody has a glass ball and nobody can look into the future and know exactly how high Bitcoin could go. But in the end, those virtual numbers on your mobile phone or your computer that show your portfolio, those are just virtual numbers. They're unrealized gains. At some point, you will have to take profits. If you're going to take those profits and cash it out and buy something in the physical world, that's up to you. You might also take profits and buy back into the market at a later price so that you can actually get more Bitcoin or more crypto. That's all up to you. But at some point, you're going to have to take some profits. And by making an estimate for yourself how high you believe that Bitcoin could go, you can create your own exit plan. That being said, I really hope that you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, make sure to smash the like button. And if you haven't done so yet, subscribe to my channel. And I'm looking forward to see you in the next video. All right, peace out.